So Harrison, welcome to the club, mate. How's it been the last sort of 24 hours coming in from the US and arriving in training?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, obviously, with the flight and everything, and haven't been hit too hard by jet lag yet, but came in yesterday and saw the training grounds and everything like that, and meeting everyone, and it's been good so far. Yeah, had my first training session this morning, trying to get my legs back a bit, so it's been good.
Excellent. And you're an Australian who's primarily played in the US. Just tell us about how you sort of developed over there and obviously got to where you are now, coming back to Australia.
Yeah, I moved to the US when I was probably 10. Lived in Brisbane before that, still got a lot of family there, but grew up playing in the US, went to school there, came out and played first club in Sacramento in California, then moved up to Portland, and then the last 2 years I've been with the club in Cincinnati. And sort of been playing there for the past 2 years and got the opportunity to come out here and felt like it was in line with my sort of career goals and wanted to come out here and make the most of it.
Just going back to your time in Australia when you were growing up and you were young, did you play a little bit in Brisbane before you went to the US?
Yeah, I did. Only like youth stuff. At that time I think my dad was coaching me, so pretty early days. Soccer playing in Brisbane, but yeah, I then moved to the US and kept going from there.
Excellent. And I guess in Australia, not many people sort of know about the USL over here, but just tell us what it's like as a league, and clearly it's the second tier to the MLS. How would you describe it as sort of the style of play of the clubs there?
Yeah, so it started out as like sort of a development league, obviously, and a lot of the MLS teams have their second teams in there, so younger players that they're trying to develop for the first team. It started to get a little bit more competitive after there were kind of 3 leagues, and then this bottom 2 sort of combined into one. So the past couple of years it's been getting more competitive, I'd say. Especially my club that I play at is a team that's in Cincinnati, or that I played at was a team that's looking to break into the MLS and gets a solid fan base and pretty good standard. So we, they have a sort of what's similar to the FA Cup here. In the US, it's called the Open Cup, so we end up playing MLS teams, and all the teams come together, and went on a good run with that this past year. So it's a competitive level, but definitely a development level, and I'm excited to make a step into our first division.
And on that US Open Cup, I guess you had the opportunity to play some MLS clubs. Yeah. Which clubs did you play, and what was that like as an experience for you? We played a few different clubs. We played, Cincinnati's actually in Ohio, so we played Columbus, which is also in Ohio. They're further north. Ended up beating them, which was good. Moved on to the next round, played Chicago, which is in the MLS. Got to play against people like Schweinsteiger, which was fun. Ended up beating them, and then went on to the final round and played New York, not the NYCFC. Ended up playing the Red Bulls, and lost to them in the semi-finals. So ended up getting knocked out, but it was fun playing against people like Bradley Wright Phillips and people like that. It was pretty cool. And you played sort of 90 minutes in all of those games, did you? And got the opportunity to play against them?
Yeah, I actually played something like, I'm coming off playing like 32 games, I think it was. So played in every game last season, so it was definitely a big workload, and had a couple of weeks off before coming out here. But yeah, I ended up played all those US Open Cup games, ended up taking a penalty in the Chicago game, which was fun, in front of those US Open Cup games we were playing in front of like 30,000 people. So those were fun games and good experiences.
Excellent. So we learned a little bit about your time in America, but what about yourself? How would you sort of describe yourself as a player?
As a player, I would say hardworking, like to get stuck in tackles, like to be on the ball, comfortable on the ball, distribute and communicate, try to lead from the back as much as I can, which I think is important as a centre back. But yeah, definitely, blue collar, like to keep it simple and effective, yeah.
Excellent. And I guess you've taken a slightly different path to a lot of Australian players. They might sort of start in the A-League and then go overseas, but I guess you sort of moved across, and I guess was that with your family initially and then?
So I moved over for my dad's work initially, and then have sort of just been going wherever my career takes me, following opportunities and stuff like that. And when my agent talked to me about Melbourne, and obviously he's, in the US we have NYCFC, which is sort of the sister club to here. So I had looked at going there, and then when they mentioned Melbourne to me, obviously everyone raves about Melbourne, and what I've seen looked like a great club. So Obviously with Warren stepping in, a coach that I was looking forward to playing for, and it just looked like a great setup that I wanted to be a part of.
Fantastic. I guess also the club does have a pretty competitive squad as well, and particularly defensively as well. We've got a lot of strong defensive players this season. I mean, obviously you'll train for a period before you're available to play, but do you think it will, professionally, this will push you? This will give you an environment to.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I've managed to be able to watch, the games from this season and see the good crop of players. Obviously, it's a great standard, and like you said, really strong defenders. So being a part of that, being coached by Warren and Paddy, it should be a good setup. I'm looking forward to being in that crop of players and learning and growing as a player.
Super. And what about your sort of ultimate goal? What do you want to achieve with the club, both as a team and then also for yourself personally?
Yeah. I mean, winning championships is always huge for me. So that's what I came here to do. I want to help the club win. I came back to Australia to hopefully try and maybe get into the fold with the national team. Has always been a goal of mine. So that's always something that I've wanted to do. Try and get on that radar a little bit, hopefully. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, have to perform well and play well and try and get into the team. So looking forward to it.
Excellent. And then just a final question: what's your sort of message to the City fans?
I would just say I'm looking forward to hopefully a lot of success this season. Looking to work hard and hopefully be a player that people enjoy watching and respect as a player. So I'm going to do my best and work as hard as I can to get results for the City.